Hello everyone, welcome to IP Study video lectures. Today we will discuss grade 6 science chapter, A Journey Through States of Water. In this chapter we will cover topics 3 states of water, change in states of water, how can water evaporate faster or slower, the cooling effect on water, how do clouds give us rain. So in our daily life, water is very essential resource. It is found in many forms in the surroundings. These forms can be solid, liquid and gas. When you drink water, it is the liquid state of it. And when you keep it in refrigerator and it changes into ice, that becomes the solid state of water. You may have noticed the steam when you are boiling water or preparing the tea, the water starts vaporizing in the form of steam. That steam is the gaseous state of water. When we understand these 3 states of water, it helps us to see various phenomena and understand those phenomena in our surroundings or in our daily life. Let us understand the 3 states of water. Solid state, which is ice. When water freezes, its molecules comes closer, they are tightly bound and changes into the solid state. You can see it in the form of snow, hail and glaciers. How can you see the change of water changing into its solid state? You can conduct an activity for this. Take a small cup of and fill it with water. Now put it in the refrigerator, in the freezer, and observe the change of its state at every hour. Means you need to keep water in a vessel and put this in the refrigerator and leave it there for an hour. Now check the change in its state. Again leave it for another hour and now observe the change. Do you see any change in the state of water during these hours? You may see that water which was liquid state earlier, it is solidifying. It is changing into solid form. Means it is changing into ice. And after 2 hours, it will be completely frozen and it will be a solid ice piece. In the liquid state, the molecule of water are not that compactly packed like the ice. Here you will notice the change if you compare. In the solid state, the molecules are very tightly packed next to each other with the strong bonds. And in liquid state, you can see some air spaces, gaps between the molecules of water. This is because in liquid state, molecule of a material or a matter are loosely packed with each other and that creates a gap, and that's why they flow very easily. This is the reason when you spill the water, it can flow easily. Water is the liquid state which is found in lakes, rivers, streams, ponds, etc. Also, it is available in the form of rain. In liquid state, the water is used for cooking, for drinking, for watering plants, for washing and cleaning. Let's check how to find out the behavior of water in liquid state. Take 3 glass containers of different shapes. Pour water from one container into another. So what you are doing here, you are taking 3 vessels, 3 beakers or 3 glass tumblers, label them A, B, C. Are these identical in the shape or size? No. If you take water up to the half of the length in this beaker A and pour it into the beaker B, which is slightly wider, you will notice that water may be filled up to this height only. But in beaker, it was up to the height, half of the height. So here you can see that the shape or size of the water is changing into the beaker B as compared to the beaker A. Now pour the same amount of water from beaker B into the C, which is slightly thinner, or we can say less wider but taller than the other two beakers. Now pour the water into the beaker C, and you will notice that the water will take up the space in this container or beaker more than the half of its height. So what we are seeing here, that in different containers, based on their shape and size, water is taking its shape and size in the beaker. So it is possible because of the loose bonding of molecules in liquid state of water, that is allowing it to take the different shapes or flowing easily. You will observe that the water takes the shape of each container, whereas on a flat surface it flows easily. In gaseous state, water changes into steam, or we can say it is changing into water vapor. How this happens? When we were changing the water into ice in the solid state, what we were doing? We were cooling it down, means we were reducing the temperature of water. When we are changing it into water vapor, what is happening? We are heating it up, means we are increasing the temperature of water here. When water is heated, its molecules are dispersed far away from each other. If you check the molecular arrangement of water in the liquid state, there are tiny spaces between the molecules. These spaces will increase between the molecules. Why? When you are heating up, the bonds between the molecules are loosened and the molecules get energized and they are free to move easily, free to move sparsely, and that creates the gaseous form of the water. When water is heated, its molecules are dispersed far from each other, and the water vapor is the gaseous state of water. It is an invisible form. You can see the ice, you can see the liquid state of water, but you cannot see the steam or water vapor every time. It is invisible form of water. It is present in the air around us and plays a significant role in weather changes and the water cycle. So what happens in the water cycle? Water from the different surface like the pond, river, lake, ocean, it evaporates and it changes into water vapor and forms clouds after cooling down, and when clouds become heavier, they fall again in the form of rain, hails or snow. In activity 3, you can observe the gaseous state of water. Fill a pot with water and put it over the stove for heating, or you can take the water and place it under the sunlight, directly into the sunlight also. You will notice after some time, when the water is heated, it is changing into steam and the amount of water is reduced. So when it is heated, what is happening here? The molecules are going apart and they are changing into gaseous state, and which means it is changing into vapor that you can see in the form of steam. But when you are placing the water in a container under the sunlight, you might not be able to see the steam because it happens slowly, but the water from the surface is evaporating, it is changing into gaseous state and mixing into the atmosphere. So again, check this. The gap between the molecule is now increased. So here we can conclude that the different state of matter has different arrangement of molecules in it. Through the example of water, we can say the ice, closely packed molecules. The liquid state of water has loosely packed molecules in it, but the gaseous state means water vapor has sparsely arranged molecules in it. Next is the change in state of water. So as I said, the water is changing into different state by changing its temperature. When we were freezing the water, we were lowering the temperature of the water. When we were heating the water, we were increasing the temperature of water. When we are doing heating or cooling of water, the water is going through different changes through the processes called melting and freezing, evaporation and condensation. So what is happening here? When you are freezing the water, it is changing into solid, and when you are heating the water, it is changing into water vapor. So during this process, you are changing the temperature of water to change it into different state. Melting refers to the change of state of a solid into a liquid when the temperature is increased. So what happens here? Take the ice and put it in a container and leave it at the top of a table. After some time, approx half an hour or 20 minutes, you will notice the ice is changing into liquid state again. It is changing into water. Why this is happening? The ice is absorbing the heat from the surroundings and the solid state is changing into liquid state. Or you can see it faster when you take the ice in a saucepan and put it over the stove. As soon as you start heating the ice, it start melting into the liquid state. So what we are doing here, again we are increasing the temperature of water to change it into from solid to liquid state. On the other hand, freezing occurs when the liquid is cooled down. So here we are reducing the temperature of water. So freezing occurs when a liquid is cooled down. It changes into solid because the temperature of the water is reduced and the molecules are coming closer and changing into solid state. So heating and cooling of water result in melting and freezing. So two important terms which are useful here to change water into different states are changing into temperature by heating and cooling, resulting into melting and freezing respectively. Next is condensation. What is condensation? When water is cooled down from vapor state to liquid state, it is called condensation. On a hot summer afternoon, you may notice that when you are keeping the water in the sunlight or when you are leaving the wet clothes outside, they dry up easily. Why? Because the water from the surface, it absorbing heat from the sunlight, from the hot air in the surrounding, and it is changing into water vapor. And what happened to the water vapor? It rises up because it is lighter, and it rises up at higher altitude. It reduces the temperature and again cools down to form clouds. So that's how it keeps rotating in the atmosphere. So what happens here? Zara and her friend decided to set up a lemonade stand in the neighborhood, and as they prepared their refreshing drink, they noticed that the tumbler is covered with tiny water droplets. So what they used to prepare the lemonade? They used cold water and some ice to prepare the lemonade, and when they left the jar at the room temperature, they noticed that there are tiny water droplets covered the jar from the outer surface. Why this happens? The water or the lemonade in the jar is colder than the air surrounding the jar, and the surrounding air also has water vapor which is invisible to us, because when the water vapor in the air are coming in contact with the cold surface of water jar, it is reducing heat and changing into water. Means from water vapor to it is going into liquid state. So what is happening here? The change of temperature is occurring here, which is leading the change of water vapor into liquid state. So we can understand this through the activity 5 to investigate water droplets outside the glass tumbler. So here you will need a glass, clear glass, cold water, ice cube, a small plate or saucer, and a digital kitchen scale. Why we need this? We will observe the amount of water in the jar. Fill the glass halfway with cold water. Cold water is comparatively cooler than the atmospheric air. Take a few ice cubes of the water, add it to the glass. Place the glass on a small plate or saucer. What we are doing here? We are taking the glass, filling it half with water, adding some ice cubes so that the temperature of the water is reduced. It is now becoming cold. And we are putting the tumbler in a saucer. Now weigh the glass tumbler by placing it with a digital scale. Record the initial weight. We will weigh the complete apparatus, which is made up of saucer, a tumbler and ice and water in it. Now weigh the tumbler after 5 minutes or half an hour. So what is happening here, when you are leaving it for some times in the atmosphere, there will be tiny droplets covering the outer surface of the tumbler, and these will start dripping into the saucer. So that's how some water will be collected around the tumbler into the saucer. And now if you weigh the weight, you will find slight change in the weight of the apparatus. This happens when the atmospheric air comes in contact with the cold walls of the glass tumbler. It reduces the temperature, it reduces the heat or releases the heat in the surrounding, and the water vapor in the air changes into tiny water droplets which keep dripping into the saucer, and that's how we collect some water from the atmospheric air to show the condensation of air. You will find that the weight of the tumbler increases slightly over the time even as more droplets form from on the outer side of the glass. However, the level of water does not increase inside the tumbler. There is no leakage from the tumbler. The water in the tumbler will remain the same. The water which is collected outside the tumbler is from the water droplets in the air. So there is no decrease in the length of the column of water, or there is no decrease in the amount of water in the tumbler. When the warm, moist air comes in contact with the cold surface of glass, it cools down and cannot hold as much water vapor anymore. It becomes heavier. As a result, the water vapor turns back into liquid water, forming droplets on the glass tumbler. When a vapor turns back into water, it is called condensation. It can be observed in nature in form of fog. The appearance of fog in winter and tiny dewdrops in early morning on the plants on a winter morning are examples of condensation. You can see the condensation also on your spectacles or the sunglasses. You take the spectacles or glasses and blow some air on it. After some time, you will see the mist on the spectacles or the glasses, which is because of the condensation. So how water vapor came here? When you are breathing out, you are inhaling a moist air, the air which contains water vapor, and it comes in contact with the cold surface of the glass, because when you are breathing out the air, it is slightly warmer, and when it comes in contact with the cold surface of the glass of your spectacles, it cools down and it is visible in the form of mist over the spectacles. Evaporation is another process of changing water from one state to another state. In this process, you heat up the water and the liquid state changes into gaseous state. So on heating, water turns into vapor, which is a gaseous state. This happens due to the process of evaporation. This process is called here evaporation. It can also be observed in nature. For example, when the sun heats surface water in ocean, pond, wet clothes, it causes the rise of water in the air as water vapor. So what is happening here? When any wet surface is exposed to the hot air or it is under the sunlight, the solar heat is helping it to change into water vapor. So these processes, melting, freezing, evaporation and condensation, demonstrate how water moves between three states of water, which are solid, liquid and gas. They provide the foundation of understanding how the water behave in nature and in our daily life. Okay. How can water evaporate faster or slower? Can we change the speed of evaporation in the atmosphere or during any other process? Yes, it is possible. There are certain factors which affect the process of evaporations. Have you ever noticed that some things dry faster than others? For example, on a rainy day, clothes take much time to dry than the hot sunny day. Like for example, if you put the clothes in the sunlight directly on a sunny day, you will notice it will dry up in half an hour or 20 minutes or maybe in an hour. But on a rainy day, it takes a long day, and sometimes it even don't dry during the rainy day because there are a lot of water vapor already in the atmosphere, in the air, and it cannot hold more air from the drying clothes. Factors affecting evaporations other than the sunlight. This is temperature of the atmosphere, the surface area of the object which is kept for drying, and air movement, we can say the speed of the wind, and humidity, or we can say the water vapor in the atmosphere, in the air. Now understand the effect of cooling on water. It helps us to get cold water from earthen pots during the summer and quench our thirst. Earthen pot is made up of clay and it is a porous container. There are very small pores on the surface of the earthen pot which are not easily visible to us. The tiny pores in the earthen pots allow a small amount of water to seep through the outer surface. So what is happening here? These tiny pores are allowing water to move into the outer surface, in the surrounding of the earthen pot. When this water evaporates, it takes some heat from the surrounding air and hereby cooling the water inside. This is why the water in the earthen pot feels cooler than the water in a stainless steel pot, which is not a porous material. Steel is not the porous material, where the clay is the porous material here, which is used for the making of earthen pot. So what we understood here, that these pores are letting the water to seep through the earthen pot, and these water molecules are evaporated when it comes into the surrounding atmosphere, and it allow the water to keep cooler than the metal container or any other stainless steel container. Now understand, how do clouds give us rains? As we discussed earlier, that the evaporation and condensation are constantly happening in the atmosphere, forming the water cycle. Water cycle help us to get the rain and the formation of clouds. It involves various processes which leads to the change of different states of water. These are evaporation and condensation. These are happening constantly in the nature. How? From different water bodies, the surface water is heating up due to the sunlight, and these are changing into water vapor. As the water vapor is lighter, it is rising up in the atmosphere. At higher altitude, it cools down, it releases the heat into the atmosphere and changes into tiny water droplets. These tiny water droplets combines, and when these becomes heavier, they start falling back on the earth in form of rain. When the sun heats water from the ocean, lake, river and other water bodies, this causes the water to evaporate, turning it into water vapor. This process is called evaporation. It can happen from any surface area. Like when you spill water, it vanishes after some time on a hot day or on a sunny day because it has already evaporated. It has become the part of water cycle. And plants also contribute here. Plants are absorbing water through roots. It is conducted into different parts of the water. It is reaching to the leaves. Through tiny stomata from the leaf, the water is changing into water vapor and contributing to water cycle. This warm air rises into the atmosphere from the Earth's surface. As it moves higher into the atmosphere, this warm air starts cooling down. This warm air has lot of water vapor. At certain altitude, the air gets cool enough for water vapor to condense, to change into liquid state into tiny droplets through the process called condensation. These droplets come together to form clouds. When these droplets are connected, these are making the larger droplets and forming the clouds. As more as droplets join, they form large drops of water. When these drops becomes too heavy to hold in the air, they start falling in form of rain or in form of snow sometimes, in form of hails also sometimes. These all forms of water, which is rain, hail, storm, these are called precipitates, and the process of falling these states of water are called precipitation. Under certain conditions, these droplets might freeze and fall as snow or hail instead. When this happens, when the temperature of the air drops so quickly that the water droplets start freezing into solid state. In this state, they comes in form of hails or snow. So, there is a constant movement of water in a cyclic form in nature through the process of evaporation, condensation, and this process is called water cycle. Why is the water cycle important? We studied that water is constantly changing through evaporation and condensation in the nature. But why it is necessary for us? How it is helping for us? The water cycle is essential for life on the earth because it is ensuring the continuous supply of fresh water for living beings. Most of the water is available in the form of ocean on the earth, and it is not usable. It is more salty and we cannot use it directly. It is not usable for most of the species of plants and animals. Since only a small fresh amount of water is available, which is in the rivers, ponds and some water streams. Since ocean water is salty and cannot be used directly for drinking, farming and other needs, the water cycle moves water from the ocean to the land and filtering and purifying it along the way. So when the water from the surface of ocean is evaporating in water cycle, only water molecules are changing into water vapor. The salts which are mixed in the ocean water remains behind. So that's how we are able to extract the water from pure water from the ocean bodies or any other water body. So here that's why we say the rain is the purest form of the water. As very small amount of fresh water is available on the earth, and it is very essential for all living beings, whether it's an animal or plant, we need to conserve it. It is a valuable resource. As a global population is increasing, the demand for fresh water is also increasing because it is required for various activities in our daily life such as cooking, drinking, cleaning, washing, etc. Plants also need it for their growth, for making food and to maintain the shape of the parts of the plant body and to maintain the temperature of the plant body. So it is essential for all kind of living being. This growing demand can lead to the greater shortage of water in many parts of the world. It is important to remember that water is a precious resource and we must use it wisely to ensure that every drop of water is used correctly and it is not wasted. Here are a few ways we can conserve the water. First is avoid wasting water. How can you avoid wasting water? Make sure that all the faucets are fixed properly. These are not leaking. If you see any leaking faucet, so close it or fix it. And when you are offering water, like we can follow very small steps into daily life. Like if you're offering water to somebody, take small glasses, offer the water. If somebody needs more water, you can offer more. For yourself also, take the small amount of water in a glass and drink it. If you need more, you can repeat it. What happens when you go home with after completing your school? You always carry a water bottle. What are you doing with the leftover water in your water bottle? You can use it for watering the plant instead of throwing it into the sink. Keep water bodies clean. Avoid dumping waste or chemicals into rivers, lakes, or any other water body, because it is harming the aquatic life. It is making the water poisonous, unfit for the aquatic animals and aquatic plants. Use water wisely. Consider using water efficient appliances and fixtures at home. Collect rainwater and for gardening, and limit the use of sprinklers. So that's how we can practice different changes in the day-to-day life, which can help us to conserve the water for later use. Thank you.